Our focus in Unit 2 will be on engaging with sources in our writing. In Module 3, we'll talk about research, how to find sources. And in Module 4, we'll talk about synthesis, how to write with sources. Let's start by highlighting the particular element of the rhetorical situation that we'll be focusing on during this unit. In Unit 1, we focused a lot on genre and audience, assessing the conventions and expectations of a particular writing situation, and adjusting your writing to effectively navigate them. In Unit 2, we're going to talk a lot about this sort of external component of rhetoric, the conversation. Remember, the conversation refers to the ideas that exist around a particular topic. Conversation is connected to kairos and ethos in that an author or speaker must demonstrate awareness of other beliefs or arguments surrounding their own. This will aid in the author's trustworthiness by suggesting that they are not simply caught up in their own ideas, but have thought about and consulted with others. Conversation is not an element directly built into the rhetorical triangle, but it's rather something that surrounds it. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine that you have a boat, and you need to get it to the other side of a lake. Even though the boat and the lake are separate entities, they'll be intimately connected during that journey. The boat needs the lake in order to make forward progress. You could have the most beautiful and well-crafted boat in the world, and if you never put it in the water, it will just sit there and be stuck on the shore. So the boat needs the lake in order to move. And you, as the navigator of the boat, need to understand the lake. You need to know if it's likely to be rough or smooth. You need to know if there are shallow places that the boat might get stuck on. And if you want to make efficient time, you need to know the best route to take to get to the other side. In this metaphor, your rhetorical situation or your writing situation is your boat. The conversation is the lake. There are a few things that this metaphor suggests about the relationship between your writing and the conversation around your topic. First, just like the boat can't move without the lake, you can craft a smart and perfectly phrased paper, but if you do not engage with the ideas of others, your ideas won't get anywhere. Acknowledging what others have or have not said is a significant way in which we can create a meaningful space from within which to present our ideas. A second thing the boat metaphor suggests is that you have to have a good working knowledge of the conversation around your topic in order to effectively navigate it. If you were to misread or misunderstand the findings of a particular study, and then to misrepresent that study in your writing, it could easily invalidate your perspective. Let me take a moment to clarify some of the terminology I've been using. As nursing students, it might feel strange to talk about sources with terms like ideas and arguments and perspectives. In scientific papers, we often report findings, evaluate results, and present conclusions. So why would we think about having conversations with our sources rather than accumulating info from their discoveries and assembling or reporting it? So let's talk about that for a minute. First, even scientific findings are really only ideas. Two different researchers can interpret the same evidence in differing ways. And in the medical field especially, the things that we know are continuously changing. There's an ongoing dialogue that takes place across medical and scientific studies because knowledge changes so rapidly. This is why it's important that you use current sources in your papers, because the findings of a study published over 5 years ago are often no longer relevant today. Secondly, thinking about sources as being in conversation with each other is also about your mindset. It reminds you that your sources are not authorities in and of themselves. It reminds you that there is a person on the other end of that piece of writing. Each of your sources is written by a person or persons with a mind and with experience and ideas and expertise. You also are a person with a mind and with experience and ideas and expertise. And it's important that you have a voice in your own papers. Thinking about the conversation reminds you that you're not just a moderator, but you're a participant in the exchange of ideas your paper will host. Research is the means through which we both gain familiarity with the context and conversation for our topic, and how we gather other voices that will speak in our writing. There are a couple of practical strategies that I want to share with you that are really useful whenever you're beginning a research project. Strategy number 1, plan. Make a research plan. When you're doing a project for a class, it's a good practice to work backwards from the due date. Write down when the project is due, and then list the steps you will need to complete to get there. What's your time frame? Create a schedule for yourself to ensure that you can complete the steps and get to the end without having to rush the research and writing process. There are many different ways to make a research plan, and you probably already know the planning methods that work best for you. So you can use your own planning strategies as you think ahead about your project. The important thing is that you take a moment to look at the big picture, to see the project as a whole, and to anticipate the various parts that will need to come together in order to make a successful whole. Here are 2 different examples of what a research plan could look like. Again, how you construct your plan depends entirely on your style and on what works best for you. Strategy 2 is prepare. In the next lecture video, we're going to walk through how to use Lourd's library website to search databases and find sources for your project. But before you begin your searches, it's a great practice to spend some time just brainstorming different ways to approach your topic. There's nothing more frustrating when you're beginning a research project than typing your topic into a database and getting 0 results. A close second is typing in your topic and getting hundreds of thousands of results. Both scenarios can feel really demoralizing. So before you start your searches, begin by compiling a lengthy list of possible search terms you can use for your topic. Let's say, for example, that you're interested in nurse burnout. That's your topic. Rather than immediately typing nurse burnout into a database search bar, you want to begin by listing other terms that could give you useful and relevant results. By compiling a list like this, you set yourself up for success in your database searches. If one search turns up nothing useful, you have additional search terms on hand to try instead. If one search turns up too many things, you can add additional terms from your list to narrow down your results and make them more precise. Additionally, making a list of search terms can help you think through your topic more specifically and can help you specify aspects or angles of your topic that you're most interested or invested in. Your first task for this unit will be to create a research plan for your literature review project, including a timeline for completing the tasks. You can approach this plan in whatever way you choose. I'm not looking for a particular style or method of planning. I want you to do what works for you. With your plan, you'll also submit a list of 20 to 30 possible search terms you could use for your topic. And as I said in the next lecture video, I'll show you how to use the Lourd's Library databases to search for and find good sources for your literature reviews.